Am I the asshole for sleeping top naked in my bedroom? My 18 female mom and I live in a crummy apartment complex in New York City. Our apartment itself isn't crummy. We've taken a lot of pride in making the inside of our apartment look nicer than it really is. But truth be told, the building itself is pretty crummy. So much so that the radiator in my room is broken and I get heat every day of the year, even in the summer. I prefer not to open my windows even during summer because all types of questionable creepy crawlies like to come through the window. So I usually sleep on top of the covers or without pants. Last night it was too hot, so I slept without a shirt or a bra. I have pretty huge boobs, it's no secret, but I was in the comfort of my bedroom and I keep my door closed when I sleep. This morning, I woke up to find my mom staring at me. She scared me shitless, especially because I have a loft bed and she was making direct eye contact as soon as I opened my eyes. She stood there and screamed at me for 20 minutes, telling me to put a shirt on and calling me a ruthless whore for sleeping without a shirt while her boyfriend was here. I put a pillow in front of my body and closed my eyes to go back to sleep. This wasn't good enough for her, and she ripped the pillow from my arms and told me to put on some clothes before her boyfriend came in here and saw me like this. I told her I keep my door closed for a reason, and if she's worried about her boyfriend bothering me, that's more of telling her boyfriend, not me. She was absolutely seething and told me I'm to live under her rules while I'm in her house, and that includes not being trashy and sleeping with some clothes on. I figured she was being ridiculous, but her boyfriend heard the commotion, ended up coming into the room to get her without knocking, mind you, and left me flailing a sheet to cover with. He was kind of eyeing me and told me my mom was right and I need to sleep with clothes on. I'm having a hard time understanding. Am I really an asshole here? Edit. No, I can't lock my door. She won't allow me to replace the doorknob with one that comes with a lock. Update. Am I the asshole for sleeping top naked in my room? Hi everyone, I wanted to give an update on the situation since a lot of people were really concerned for me. After the whole debacle, I did purchase a wedge for under my door from Walmart. It worked, and I didn't have any more issues with waking up to people in my face. I used the excuse that it was to keep our cat from opening my door at night, and my mom seemed fine with that. While E was here and even after he was gone, my mom seemed detached and sort of out of it. I asked if everything was okay, and she said she needed to sort out some feelings first, but she promised we would talk when she was better. I said okay and left it at that. A couple days later, E came back for another weekend stay. The day after he came, they had an at-home date night with drinks and fancy takeout. And that night, I woke up to my door being messed with. I called out to see if it was my mom and got no response. I pulled on a t-shirt and shorts and pulled the door wedge out to check, and E was standing at my door. He was drunk. And I was a bit panicked because I thought something had happened to my mom and he needed help. But he just stood there for a few seconds without saying anything. He didn't seem to be sleepwalking or in peril, so I said, I'm uncomfortable. I'm closing my door. Before I could close the door all the way, my mom flew out of her room, saw him and started cussing and screaming and telling him he needed to leave. They argued back and forth for a while, but eventually she got him out the door. After calming her down, I took her to her room and we had a talk. It turns out the day she had came into my room, she had been on his phone and saw he was talking to brother-in-law about me in very disgusting ways, talking about how I was growing up to be very shapely and mature and that he couldn't wait until I moved out so he could dump my mother for me. He said far more explicit things that were all extremely worrying, especially since we've known him since I was 11. My mom had came to tell me to be careful around him while she thought of a way to break it off safely. But when she saw my state, she had some misplaced anger. He's out of our lives now, thankfully. Am I the asshole? My friend said that I overreacted. I, 27 female, had a disagreement with a fairly close friend, 30 female. She has a 2.5-year-old son, and I have a 5-month-old daughter. She kept joking about them being boyfriend and girlfriend, getting married when they're older. Fine, whatever. But then she started encouraging her 2.5-year-old son that my baby is his girlfriend. He started constantly trying to kiss her on the lips. I asked my friend to stop encouraging this as, one, I don't feel comfortable and don't consider it age-appropriate behavior, and two, he goes to nursery and it's sick season. I don't want anyone kissing my baby. She blew up saying I'm overreacting and I'm sexualizing her child. She brought the abuse I suffered as a child into it and threw it in my face, saying my baggage has effed me up. I told her that the argument of whether or not it was appropriate aside, I almost lost my oldest to RSV as a child and don't want anyone kissing my baby and making her sick. She continued to encourage her son to kiss my daughter. I told her she is no longer welcomed in my home and that I cannot be friends with someone who will not respect boundaries that I set for my children. She freaked out, calling me many choice names in front of my children, and I told her if she didn't leave, I would call the police. We have been friends for nearly 4 years, and I feel awful ending that, but I really feel strongly about my boundaries not being respected. Am I the asshole? I feel like maybe I could have overreacted like she said, so maybe I could be, but I also feel like regardless of my reasons, what I say with child goes and should be respected. So, am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for asking my girlfriend not to eat so much? I know the title sounds bad, but this is a pretty specific situation, so please hear me out. I, 26 male, have been dating a woman we will call Ashley, 26 female, for about 3 months. Ashley grew up financially well off and relatively privileged, and it has been a point of friction in our relationship with her not understanding or grasping the level of poverty I and my family grew up with. It is also relevant to this story that Ashley is a heavier person and is a very vocal advocate for body positivity and will very assertively stand up to anyone fat shaming herself or others. The other person who is relevant to this story is my grandma, 70. My grandmother is a wonderful woman, but she is both very proud and very broke. She likes to have us over for dinner and is an excellent cook, but financially, she can't really afford it. She refuses to take any money from me or anyone else and won't let anyone bring food, saying it's her responsibility to take care of the family. She also takes offense if you turn down the invitation. About a month ago, we had dinner with her, and Ashley liked the food so much, she went back for second and third large portions. This is not done in my family. We all take a single small portion, as the leftovers are what my grandmother has to eat for the week. So Ashley taking more meant my grandmother didn't eat for the next couple days. After the dinner, I explained this to Ashley and she was shocked. I tried to bring my grandmother food, but she refused the quote unquote charity out of pride. My grandmother has invited us to dinner again this weekend. Before we go, I tried to have a discussion with Ashley, reiterating my grandmother's financial situation and asking that she try to only take a single smaller portion so my grandmother can have food for the week. I said we could go eat again after the meal if she was still hungry. Ashley got very angry at this and said she will not be shamed for her eating. She will not limit her food, and that no one other than her decides when she's had enough food. She also said that I was fat shaming her. This whole ordeal has highlighted a lot of incompatibility issues, and I don't know if the relationship is going to last, but just want some other opinions on if I'm the asshole. So am I the asshole for asking my girlfriend to limit her eating? Edit. A lot of people are asking why I didn't tell my girlfriend before the first meal. To be frank, I didn't think of it. It did not occur to me that someone would go to someone else's house and eat 2 days worth of food in a sitting.